Welcome to an interview with PoliticsUK. Obviously, we understand that you're a new Member of Parliament for Harrow East.
Correct.
So I just want to introduce Robert Blackman. So welcome.
Hi.
Right then, we've got a series of questions we're going to be asking you. The questions have come from our community as well. So,
okay, even better.
So these should be quite useful. But there's a question around milk, strangely enough. Recently, farmers have been in dispute over the price of milk.
Yes.
Do you think that low prices are an advantage on a competitive market, or do you think that basically they are keeping back the farmers, or do you think they're controlling price from the supermarket level?
Actually, I think in the main, several of the supermarkets have acted quite responsibly.
Yeah.
There's a few of them that have been aiming just to drive down the price of milk completely.
Right.
And in many ways, I think it's the milk distributors that are causing the main problem. When I go in my constituency, I have relatively few supermarkets in my area, but a lot of corner shops.
Right.
And those corner shops are selling milk at very cheap prices indeed. You know, you can buy now 8 litres of milk for £2.
Yeah.
Which is it's just astonishing. I mean, in fact, the ridiculous thing is that bottled water is more expensive than bottled milk,
yeah.
which is a nonsense. My concern is, of course, that what will happen in the long run is that farmers will be driven out of business. And as then the supply shrinks, the price will rocket. And so what we have to do is maintain a balanced market so that the farmers get a fair price, yeah. And the public gets a fair price for milk that we depend upon as part of our staple diet.
So do you think, obviously you mentioned how you can go to a corner shop and the price is very different to the main markets. Yeah. Obviously there's been introduction of companies such as Lidl's and the Audis, yes. Who've come in with lower prices from
yes.
another market.
Yeah.
Is it a sort of form of monopoly that we've got in
the risk is that it's a cartel, right. Effectively, and I think it's the distributors of milk rather more than the supermarkets that are to blame, right. for the pricing that it seems to be going completely through the floor. And people are not getting a fair whack. Right. I also worry that the farmers get paid one amount of money for their milk, and then the big retailers charge a big markup on it.
So how would you ideally like it to be?
Well, I think the farmers should get a fair price for their product.
Yeah.
And that we should be looking at an inquiry that says where is this mechanism going wrong? Yeah. Because what we have is an example of market failure. Because generally speaking, a market will regulate itself in terms of the pricing to the end customer. Right. But the risk is that if you get a cartel, then that can of course fix the prices unfairly within the market.
But do you believe that big corporations are guilty of monopolising the market?
Well, the definition of a monopoly
yeah.
is that an organisation company has 25% of the market.
Yeah.
Now, we have relatively few markets in the UK where one supplier has 25% of the market. There are still some, the electricity and gas industries and the telecommunications industry and others. There are still issues of monopolies. Yeah. With a monopoly comes, I think, responsibility to ensure that those monopolies are providing services above and beyond the entry level suppliers are providing. And I think that's one of the issues that has to be looked at, is to say, well, if you are a monopoly supplier, yeah. Are you fixing the prices to make excessive profits? Mm-hmm. Are there too high a barrier to entry to those markets so that new competitors can come in and compete? And is it becoming a position whereby those monopolies just get bigger and bigger, yeah. and they consume more and more of the market share to the detriment of the end customer? Because at the end of the day, the end customer is the key here to make sure they get a good price and a decent service.
Do you think the youth are properly prepared for adult life and employment when they leave school?
I think one of the problems about schooling, which has gone on, is the expectations that are made of our young people. Yeah. Go back to my time at school, 1 in 12 went to university, and most left school and went into a job. Yeah. Now we're saying to young people, 1 in 2 goes to university or college or some form of higher education, which is good. Yeah. The more people that get longer education, the better. But are we preparing young people for a life of work and preparing them in the right sort of way so that they get the qualifications they need to do the type of jobs they want to do. I also worry with 1 million young people under 24 unemployed that we're not creating the sort of opportunities that people need in the workplace to take the sort of tasks on. I worry at my constituency level, I see young people with good degrees in proper subjects, not funny subjects as it were, law or engineering, who haven't got jobs. And that to me is a real worry, because those people have educated themselves, they've gone through university, and then they still can't get a good job. It's one of the big challenges that the government have to undertake in terms of removing the recession, is creating the opportunity for growth, and particularly for young people to get employment. And I think one of the things the government has done, which I strongly applaud, is the expansion of apprenticeships to allow young people to get a job, so that they're being paid, but also gaining experience in real work, as opposed to just getting experience from school. So it's a start, but we need to go further. And I think one of the problems that we've had with the national curriculum, as it's been, is because of the prescription on key subjects, and I can understand that, what we haven't done is necessarily prepare people for what work is going to be like, particularly in the future.
So do you feel that the actual education system is geared towards sending people out on certain subjects then, as opposed to nationally required subjects? I
think that one of the problems is that vocational skills, for example, have not been given sufficient priority for those that are better at those particular subjects.
Right.
I mean, not everyone can be a brain surgeon. Not everyone is going to be filled to be a lawyer. Not everyone's going to be an accountant. We need a range of different people to do different jobs. Yeah. And one of the problems I think that the educational system has to change on is being able to focus on what are the skills and abilities that people have naturally, what can they learn, and then how can we prepare them then for the type of work that they're going to do. Not everyone is a brilliant academic.
Yeah.
Some people are very good with their hands, they're skilled artisans. There's nothing wrong with that, and we shouldn't see that as a second-rate type of skill. And unfortunately, I think in the education system, far too often that's looked upon as being frowned upon, really, and we concentrate far more on the academic capability.
No, that's brilliant. Well, taking it away from the education and moving more towards employment, there's been a lot of work around the workfare side of things, and obviously people going back into the workplace, and obviously you mentioned apprenticeships.
Yes.
But what are your views on the workfare programme? Because it's obviously been in the media a lot recently.
Yeah, I think it's a good programme. It's aiming to give people some experience of work and encourage them to work. One of the things we have to get across to everyone, young people and of all ages, is that a life on benefits is not an option. We have to have benefits to enable people to get back into work.
Yep.
But just saying, I'll go and sign on and accept the money is not acceptable. People have to understand that it's there for the interim period while they're between jobs, not as an alternative career path.
Yeah.
And so therefore, products like workfare, other apprenticeships, the work capability assessments, all these things are geared towards ensuring that people understand their responsibility.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. I appreciate that.